Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday. I was trying to mind my business today, and I keep getting called to the table. So, I'm coming to you a little later than usual. It's 7:53 on the clock as I speak. Tomorrow is the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. And I was just really trying to conserve my energy. But I don't know. Maybe there's something to be seen or be said at this hour. So here I am, finally being obedient. So yeah, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're preparing yourself for this full moon accordingly to however you feel guided to do so. Yeah. And without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right in. Knight of Wands. What's the Knight of Wands going after? A Queen of Cups. Interesting. So a Knight of Wands has a Queen of Cups in their view. For what? What do you want, Knight of Wands? Ooh, what was that? That was a Judgment. But it popped in and popped out. So I don't know. I feel like the Knight of Wands wants to sway someone's decision. Particularly maybe about love, connection, intimacy. But the Knight of Wands is, I mean, he's coming with passion, but it's unbridled passion. It's not really fully developed passion. And in order to really, the higher frequency here is the Queen of Cups. So if there's going to be any true, pure intimacy, more, maybe I'm being a little bit, too, I don't know, too strict here, but it would seem to me that there would need to be some meeting of the frequencies. So, like, maybe if it was the Knight of Cups, then I could say, oh, okay, well, there is some synergy there, but the Knight of Wands might be looking for something completely different than what the Queen of Cups is either looking to give or wanting to accept. So it could be a bit of a mismatch of energies, an unequally yoked situation, perhaps. I don't know, but let me see. Let me get one more, because Judgment popped in and popped out, which to me can say a couple of things. That either there's a supreme judgment that's already been determined on this situation that's above everybody's pay grade, even if the Queen of Cups would be open to a proposition from the Knight of Wands, both of their intentions could be trumped by a higher source or a higher power if it's not going to be for the greatest good overall, so I don't or like I said, it could be decision having already been made by the Queen of Cups, even as strong as there's a decision by the Knight of Wands to pursue. There it still may be, to pursue and maybe even persuade. It's like they're bringing fire to fire. They're bringing, let's say, bringing matches to water gun fight. Like, so I don't even know what that means, but you get me, right? You get what I'm saying. Let's see, what else here? Yeah, and it's the they might get turned away and feel I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like somebody's not tall enough to ride this ride. That's what it's given. Like they want this pure love, this deep intimacy, um this committed like maybe somebody thinks they want something or they're up for a certain challenge. You know, Knight of Wands can be any of the knights can be quite ambitious when they set their sights on something or some type of conquest, or are determined to achieve something or another. They may have a lot to prove, particularly to themselves, to make this, you know, conquest. However, you know, I don't know, it just seems like what someone thinks that they're up for, or their britches are big enough for. Maybe they could find out um upon not exchange, but what's the word, encounter, perhaps, that is more there's more required of them to fill these shoes, you know. For, I mean, just simply put, somebody that, I mean, the Knight of Wands, we know that that's a good time, not a long time type of energy in some cases. Maybe not always, but generally speaking. The Queen of Cups is very settled, committed, sincere. So it's like, if you some you just be best to stay away, you know, if you know for good, for damn sure that you're not looking to put in any type of commitment, or you don't have the outlook or the bandwidth to go the distance in a commitment. Then, you know, it would be ideal if on site someone would kind of like, you know, eliminate themselves from even being a prospect. But the Knight of Wands isn't going to do that. The Knight of Wands is going to see it as the challenge that it is, and whether they mean to, and they'll be so blinded ambitiously in the for you know in the pursuit of the challenge or the conquest, that they might not even be thinking about all of those other parts, you know, of what happens once you get it, what will be required of you, pardon me, once you're actually in the space that you're looking to infiltrate, so to speak, or, you know, share at the very least. It's just like, but the thing about it is, the Queen of Cups, I mean, the Queen of Cups should be discerning enough to know what she's being proposed with, of course. However, it's just like the Knight will come on very, very strong. So I guess on either side, you know, it's just a matter of really being mindful of the true nature of opportunities that are in front of you, whether it's people or things, you know, maybe places, I suppose, because it might not even be a matter of, like I said, the Knight meaning to do any harm or any damage, but they're just operating in the authenticity of their nature from where they are. So it would be the Queen of Cups responsibility to kind of protect and be selective on that exchange, or whatever, you know, whatever she, on sharing the that pure essence of herself, you know. Because the Knight of Wands might not even be so much at fault, given this Page of Wands is given very immature energy, like I said, a mismatch here. But it could be that the Queen of Cups might not really get to see that full, um, like the full depth or lack thereof of this proposition before it's too late, and there's already been some intimate encounter of which now, there's been some loss of energy, perhaps, um, or depletion of energy, and the knight itself might not realize that they're out of their depth until they actually get in it, if in fact the Queen of Cups is so graceful to allow it. So either way, it's just, it literally is good time, not a long time energy here. And it might be amazing. Page of Wands is, it's upright. It might feel good, be fun, be liberating in some way, especially in the spirit of sensuality and passion, and maybe even a bit erotic, or just fun and freeing in a young way, like in a youthful way, like something that almost like takes you back to, your younger days when you could be a bit more carefree about who you share your time, your energy, and so on and so forth with. But the Queen of Cups is too mature to take those types of risks, I think, in this season. But that would be up to whomever whoever resonates with it. And hell, dig this, I ain't even get into this. What could come of it could be far more entangling and permanent, if we're talking about the Page of Wands being an actual kid. This could be offspring that comes on account of a night of just like fleeting or whirlwind passion. And not to say that's a bad thing, it's not all. A baby or a child can definitely be a blessing. But if that's, like, you might be in for a bit more of an uphill battle or a long stretch of mismatch or misunderstanding before there ever is like a true synergy between these energies. Four of Pentacles. Let's see, what else with the Four of Pentacles? Ooh, High Priestess. Somebody's holding on to a secret that's about to be exposed, whatever it is. Let's see, what else? Oh, Ten of Pentacles. To secret wealth, or a secret about wealth, or holding on to some type of inheritance, or I don't know, maybe could be trying to keep their wealth a secret, or keeping their intentions like what they're really looking to get out of a situation. Could be somebody could be holding that close to their chest. Let's see what's with this, because the ten, you saw how it flipped. It kind of was it was definitely in a struggle. I thought it was actually going to land in reverse, which would be unfortunate for a Ten of Pentacles, right? We never want to see that in reverse. But in a struggle is questionable too. So I don't know if somebody could be presenting themselves to be wealthy, but they really aren't, or they're having some type, like there could be wealth in some regard, but struggle in another. And that could be something that's not being disclosed, like somebody's true financial status Like, for instance, somebody could have a lot of debt. You know, I'm not seeing that here, but it could be somebody that has a lot of money, but they also have a great deal of expenses. So they're really not so abundant because their income is accounted for, you know, perhaps in more, like they may have very little to actually conserve or keep for themselves beyond what needs to be paid. I don't know. I don't even know. Let's see. What else with this Ten of Cups? Oh, with the Tower. Yeah. I don't like it. There's something to be shared here, to be exposed here about somebody's financial stability that they wouldn't be upfront with. So this, you know, if we're talking still about some proposition of partnership or a situationship or some prospect of a romantic encounter here, there could definitely be some folks that are leading with one persona or one image, but really there's something more. Let me see. I keep saying let me see, and I keep getting poppers, but I mean popping in and popping out. But perhaps because that's the point. Yeah, look at this. Yeah. Their money might be tied up in a relationship, like in a family dynamic, maybe child support or spousal support or something like that. So like they make a lot of money, but half of it or a significant and maybe that's what this is. It's like someone coming to the table that's bringing all of their energy to you that now becomes your offspring, or that could become like your problem or your responsibility, you know, because of how you align with them. And God forbid if you actually create a responsibility that belongs to you two with someone that's not quite developed energetically as you are, and they still got unfinished business elsewhere that also can somehow become your problem or could take away. Like if they got money tied up in a family situation already with child support or a divorce or whatever, like some type of Ten of Pentacles that's in a struggle right now, that means that they're less available materially or otherwise to really give again to anything that you could have, you know, going on theoretically, not, you know, absolutely, because there could, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. People live lives before they encounter each other, and sometimes, you know, that residue, well, most times that residue comes with you. I mean, I have a child, so I could never discriminate, but this is what I'm seeing here is something funny about this situation that's not necessarily being disclosed up front or is not necessarily known to the naked eye or seen by the naked eye. Let me get one more on this middle here. And work. Something about work here. Yeah, it's like, yeah, like I was saying before, it's like everything that somebody is earning is accounted for. It has a designation. It's going somewhere else, like almost as soon as somebody's making it. One more. Because these look like positive cards for the most part, but I feel something strange. And then the High Priestess popping in and out. to me is confirming of that. Like there's something mysterious. Yeah, judgment again. There's something mysterious here. There might be some type of court order that somebody's under. Yeah, that's got their funds and finances all tied up. That can make for a very stressful situation for someone in it, or someone that's kind of like in, affected by default of association or whatever. So, just, I don't know, something to consider. I ain't standing this long, because this what I came here for. I don't care about this. Oh, man. With the page the King of Wands. Okay. All right, King of Wands. What's popping, King of Wands? Let's see what you looking at. What is the focus of the King of Wands? Oh, a single lady. A single lady. Another object of affection situation over here. But for what, though? But for what? Who's this King of Wands, and what is your intention, sir? Maybe this. Oh, I'm gonna get at least one more, but this could be the holdout though, because imagine we encountered the Knight of Wands first, that actually ended up, being reduced to a page, or there's some type of page situation that for me doesn't feel most ideal. It feels like there's some baggage or some hidden layers beneath the surface that could be detrimental or unsavory in some way, shape, or form, at least for the object of affection, which in this case would be the Queen of Cups. It could be, a nod to staying single and staying focused and self-contained, maybe selective, until you actually encounter that energy that is mature, that is walking the talk, and showing and proving their purest passion, and also their self-control. And this is the evolution of the Knight of Wands by way of the King of Wands. And maybe it could be the same person as, like, you wouldn't want to, perhaps it could be, time having passed. That's not really what I'm getting, but this could be another aspect. Time having passed where there was connection in one season of life, and now there's been some evolution, some maturity, and then here we are. Maybe you again staying committed and abstaining from good time, not long time experiences that strengthen you to be in a much better place independently, and without this spirit of codependency, or dependency overall, so that there's a much more balanced and equal match here in exchange. Maybe, but let me get another one on this. It's either past evolved, or it's turning down or resisting an option or proposal or proposition or opportunity that doesn't quite align. May seem like, may seem okay, may seem sufficient in some ways, but it doesn't quite match up to what you're looking for. And with that commitment to self and your full desires and total fulfillment, here you are now in a position to attract much more of a resemblance of that frequency here with the King of Wands, who I mean, in comparison to the Knight of Wands, that's as good as it's going to get. You know, it only would get better with, you know, the Emperor for the most part, for what we're talking about here. And see what that was. Let me see. Knight of Pentacles. Long time coming. Yes, it could be interesting. It could be something from the past. Eight of Cups, though. There's still something to be desired here. Let me see. The Knight of Pentacles definitely talks about like someone that put in the work, the time. So it could have been where someone walked away on either side, the feminine or masculine energy that I'm picking up here. Somebody walked away, or both went their separate ways to find themselves or to grow or whatever in some way, or somebody did. But the Knight of Pentacles to me says that it's something that's been in the works for a while, or, you know, it's been some time has passed. But usually with the Knight of Pentacles, there's some dependability there. There's stability once it does present itself. So let me see what's with this Eight of Cups. Oh, wow. And I completely, they went to go find their power, and maybe this is what, here they are, or here they come, having found it. They went to find that pure passion. Or like I said, while one in the feminine energy was, you know, doing her thing, whatever what would be that would make her stand in this Nine of Pentacles, the masculine was on his path doing his thing. And like I said, the only thing better would be the Emperor, but I really just didn't even think about the Ace. That wasn't even at the top of my mind. So I feel like that even trumps really the Emperor to some degree, because this is like a supernatural upgrade. The Emperor is still a carnal appointment or position of authority. This is from the divine. So somebody's been anointed and appointed to a particular seat of power by way of their devotion to themselves, like whatever journey or path they took to go find themselves. You know, maybe they just wanted to mature to be a king. Shit. I heard that. Now that they are God. Ain't no point of comparison there when you put it like that. Let me just get one more for good measure. Like, this one more. So I suppose Strength card, I was just about to say, this is the thing that was worth waiting for. That's proven itself, its value. Yeah, look at this. This was the thing worth waiting for, worth having faith for, worth abstaining for, worth saying like, nah, I think I could do better. That's what that Eight of Cups is. That's like, I know I can do better than this. Whether it's for yourself, within yourself, by yourself, you know, can do bad or good all by yourself. And it's like, until something shows up that tempts me otherwise, you know, that not tempts me, but um provokes me, no, arouses me. Yeah, arouses me otherwise. Um I'll just be here tending to my little garden, says the Nine of Pentacles. Mm. Wow, hold on. Should I leave it there? Where we at? 30. Oh, 30. I think I'm gonna leave it there. So it's however this resonates on whatever side someone may feel, you know, most connected to. I just feel like the work, the processing, the effort and investment into becoming, or into being and becoming, um, is no comparison to the reward and the return on that investment. So it could be somebody that maybe kissed a couple frogs and decided to, you know, just reserve their energy, conserve their energy, masculine or feminine, really. You know, it could even be a man that played the field one too many times in their life and they've gotten bored with that, or became bored with that and bored with themselves, you know, bored with the that Eight of Cups again, like bored with what they were creating and unfulfilled, unsatisfied. There it is, unsatisfied with what they were manifesting, alchemizing, attracting, even, and made the strong choice to conserve their energy and be conservative of their time, their love, their passion, their attention, maybe their money, whatever the case may be. There was a conservation here that has made all the difference. Or for those that, you know, for anyone that hasn't made that commitment to themselves just yet, or to their life just yet, here's the evidence that it pays off in dividends. You know, that it definitely pays off. Like, what is immediate gratification or good for now or good for a good time, not a long time, is not what usually comes up to have longevity and total fulfillment and um, prosperity and promise for the future. Like, that's not what it typically yields. Um, and sometimes it's hard to abstain and take, you know, Knight of Pentacles again, and to take that long journey with no indefinite end time or even destination or guarantee per se, when it's time, when, you know, on the first step. But here it is, like, you know, depicted in these cards, that if you have done that, then you should rest assured that there's going to be some payout for your ambition and your determination in that regard. And if you haven't, it, there might not be a guarantee of the when or the how, but there's definitely a guarantee of of the result at some point in time. You know, will be better than anything you could settle for in the meantime. I don't know. Three of Pentacles, and here's another Knight of Cups. And what I did say, at least it could have been a knight, but I don't know. The Three of Pentacles, definitely, what was that peeking out? The Six of Swords. I guess that speaks to the work to okay, so it's like speaking to the work and dedication to, something that is sincere, like sincere work and dedication in the ways that I'm speaking of, because that's what the King of Cups is giving me. Like they may not have all the, at this point, there may not be a lot of experience to contribute to depth in that cup, but there's at least sincerity and intention, like a sincere heart to to the journey, or to the ideal outcome, like a commitment to the ideal outcome to some degree, with the with the Knight of Cups. Of course, that's not all, that one may want to see if you're particularly on the other end of that proposition. Like somebody can come feeling as emotionally inspired, as they want to be, but if it still is a misalignment for where you are, then, you know, there's no apologies to be made. Because even still, the Knight of Cups to the Queen of Cups is like, like it's still a bit of an imbalance, but the Queen to the King over here, that tracks. That tracks. Even though they're more or less like opposite energies with the water and the fire, it still tracks a bit more synergized than a Knight of Cups would. There's still some development or some experience, some wisdom to be gained there. So I don't know. Like we are in Mercury retrograde. It's Pisces season. We're in a transformational portal as we speak, with this lunar eclipse on the horizon, literally knocking on our door tonight into tomorrow morning. So there could be a lot of things to consider, maybe even some things that are about to come to a finality or a closure or an ending, maybe of which you've been holding on to, or there has been a lot of concessions made for why you should still hang in there or keep the faith or hold out hope. And I'm just saying, like, if it really is as primitive as someone being a placeholder for the sake of partnership, but there really isn't a strong alignment there, you would want to allow the universe to support you in that release, so that it can make room for what it is that you really want. What the heart really, really wants, at its core. And usually those two things can exist in the same space at the same time without conflict. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it there though. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.